Yo, what up? Welcome back to the greatest podcast on the face of the earth. This is the LeVar Walker Show podcast. And let's just jump right into it. As you know, what's going on in the news, the downfall of Diddy, aka Brother Love, aka Baby Oil James, whatever you want to call it. They have arrested P. Diddy, they've thrown him in jail. Uh, and from what I'm hearing, the things that I'm hearing are like frightening. Everything that people were saying all through the 90s were true. We all looked at it as a myth. We all thought for years and years that Suge Knight was the bad guy. You couldn't have told me in 1994 that P. Diddy was a villain. I was as a former fan of P. Diddy, I bought the Sean John velour suit. I went to Justin's, the restaurant. I listened to the music. 1996, when All About the Benjamins came out, I was jamming to that. We were all jamming to that. I watched Making the Band. I never would have thought that this is how this titan, this mogul would end. But my goodness, the chickens have come home to roost. They've come home to roost. And what happens is this, and it's for everybody. What we can learn from this P. Diddy situation is a thing called universal law. Universal law does not care about your level of fame, your income. Universal law is a debt that has to be paid back to the universe. So when you do people wrong, it's going to come back. And to those of you who've been done wrong by people who are in a higher position, by people who are more famous than you, don't you worry about it, because they're going to have to pay back their universal debt. They're going to have to pay that karma back. I can remember when I first started comedy back in Atlanta in the early 2000s. I was a good friend of mine, Mark Curry, not the comedian. Mark Curry was on Bad Boy. Mark Curry wrote a book called Dancing with the Devil. Now, me and Mark used to roast back and forth, and I'd tell him Diddy ain't did nothing to you. But it turns out this is true. And for years and years, you would kind of think, based off the success of P. Diddy, that were hating on him. But that's not true. And I think we have to change this look at celebrity. When people are saying things, you know, you got to raise an eyebrow. Like, wait a minute. If it's six or seven people saying the same shit, then this guy is not a good guy. This is a rotten guy. Now, what they have him on is racketeering. They have him on racketeering. They have him on sex trafficking. They have him on just numerous violations of coercion, bribing people. If you watch the Cassie video when he jumped on Cassie and actually dragged her back as she was trying to flee, that right there is considered, I believe, trafficking, because you pulled her back in against her will. It is over. And right now, he's sitting in jail in Brooklyn with a $50 million bail he's trying to post. They denied. They denied. They said, no, no, you don't get a bail. We think you're a flight risk. Now, I personally feel like the man will end up deleting himself. I don't see him. This is too great a fall. You talking about a guy that has literally been on top of the planet since the early 90s. And when I say on top of the world, this guy had access. We talking the owner of Sean John, access to the fashion world, the models, the most famous women, the most beautiful women, beautiful people. This was the guy. This was the guy that everybody wanted to get into his party. For those of you who didn't get into this party, aren't you happy? What a blessing. Never go where you're not invited. Never want to go where you're not invited. If you're not invited, this ain't meant for you. That's God protecting you. And I'm seeing people get quiet. Where's TD Jakes? Where's TD Jakes? Why is TD Jakes not somewhere in prayer right now? I also just saw Kevin Lyle step down from 300 Entertainment. He just stepped down all of a sudden out of the blue. Seems to me like the dominoes are really starting to fall, especially in the music business. And I think all of entertainment is imploding. I think all of entertainment is collapsing at this point. When I think of P. Diddy, and you even think about, like, I'm 47 years old. So for me to witness all of these black titans fall, Bill Cosby. Let's start it with Bill Cosby. It went from Bill Cosby to R. Kelly to Russell Simmons to now P. Diddy. And I don't want to make it, these are black titans. Don't forget about the white ones in the entertainment industry, with Weinstein, uh, Epstein, who wasn't really in entertainment, but he was pretty much doing the same thing I'm guessing Diddy was doing. And for you to get, this is what I have trouble scratching my head. How did Diddy turn into this monster? When people are monsters, I often sit back and ponder and I go, what's under the hood of this? How did we get here? How did we get here? And I guess just from years and years of excess, this is the monster that you turn into, because it's just not enough dopamine. You sleep with one woman. Well, you got all this access to one woman. Now you with two and three women. And then you need more, to the point where you need 1,000 bottles of baby oil, and you need men and everybody in the bed to come and play with goats while you watch. And I never want to get to that point where I need that much to get my rocks off. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the young sister, young Miami, she's just acting like nothing ever happened, like they never dated. We see you too, baby. We know what it is. There are tweets of you saying what Diddy, what you would have had Diddy make a young lady do. I can't read that out on here, but they're out there. And now these people are just running for cover. And I just believe, number one, Diddy will, I highly doubt he will ever see the light of day again. I highly doubt it. I mean, he is facing football numbers. We're talking 100 years for the sexual trafficking. And I just don't see this guy ever seeing the light of day again. And there are going to be a lot of heads to fall. A lot of people are about to go to jail. They have tapes, because he was trying to hold things over people's head and coerce people. They have tapes, bro. Arson. They got him on arson. So the man really blew up Kid Cudi's car. And he was holding Cassie primarily hostage, to where she couldn't even talk to any other man, similar to what he did to Kim Porter. Kim Porter had to sit through this man parade women around while she had his kids. He wouldn't even let her date anybody. She just had to sit and watch that. What created this monster? Because from the outside looking in, just his television persona, he seemed like a good guy, right? He seemed like he'd be a little mean, but you know, he had the brother, the arm brother Bentley. I know him. Shout out to Derek. And I need to talk to Derek about that Farnsworth. I need to really sit down and know, like, what the hell was going on. But during this period of time of Diddy's reign, this was a time when celebrity was worshipped on another level. These are the days of TRL. These are the days of 106 in Park. These are the days when people actually watch television. These were the days when I made my first Comic View appearance, it was a big deal. But now that no longer exists anymore, and these titans are falling. And they're falling because, I guess, I'm gonna say this. This is a Spider-Man quote where they say, "With great power comes great responsibility." And a guy like Diddy and Russell, these guys were worshipped. They were worshipped and held in high regards. And people would see him, oh my God, the man can change my life. And they were humbled in his presence, and he just took advantage of people. And now he has to pay. And unfortunately, I believe they're not going to let him out because I don't think he would be a flight risk or run. I believe he would take himself out. I strongly believe that this man would delete himself. And then this whole entertainment thing, like it's so different. Like I was on set recently because I'm working on I'm making a couple of appearances in T.I.'s new movie Departments 2. And we out there, and I was talking to the brother Craig for 5150, and it's almost like being on set now and acting, and it's almost like a new 9 to 5 job because it's like you do shows and television and movies now. And I'm talking about coming from the time like I came up, that was a big deal to say you're in a movie. Now, with the rise of cell phones, the internet, and the open playing field, everybody is famous. Everybody's in the movie. Everybody. It's nothing special anymore. And this whole industry is collapsing. The music industry is cooked. It's cooked. It's like, I guess you would just do music as a hobby now. And I'm pretty sure artificial intelligence and everything's going to take over. Now, speaking of Diddy, that publishing deal, he knew the downfall was coming because the publishing deal, when he was going to give all the artists back their publishing, it turned out those were nothing more than NDAs. You get a $300 upfront fee, and to get your publishing back, you had to sign an NDA agreement saying you wouldn't talk about anything you saw or any of the things that went on in these houses. And I mean, this is just really frightening to me, but it shows me that we're headed in a new direction. Hollywood is literally imploding. And I mean, it's just so much content out. There's so many things to watch. Nobody's watching them. You on movies and shows where people just don't care. You can tell they don't care because it doesn't sell a ticket anymore to be on the show. I mean, and I'm not gonna say all shows. Maybe it's like this one out of, if you could get on that one show, that one hit show that's out of a million shows that's garnering attention, then maybe you'll do good. There's a show out right now called Fight Night, which I enjoy. I think it's a great show. It stars Kevin Hart, Taraji P. Henson, Samuel L. Jackson, Terrence Howard, Chloe Bailey. I mean, a superstar cast. Shout out to the homie Melvin Gregg. And I think it's a spectacular movie, but I just don't believe it's being watched enough based off of the star power that's in this. It's produced by Will Packer. I don't think it's being watched enough or talked about enough, and that's scary. And then when you look at Hollywood, Hollywood is being propped up by old stars. That's the only thing holding the doors open right now. Denzel, Samuel L., Tom Cruise. These guys, Will Smith, Martin, these guys are pushing upwards of the mid 50s to 70 years of age. They're not even working the new actors. I should see Damson working way more. Damson Idris. I should see Idris Elba working more. I should see Michael B. Jordan working more. But you don't. You don't see anybody. And it's due to the fact, people keep making up. A lot of people want to say, Hollywood died due to woke culture. I believe that had a little bit to do with it, but that's not true. This technology and the cell phones have killed it off. Everybody has a camera, even my ass. I'm sitting in here doing this podcast on a camera and broadcasting it to everybody, and everybody can do this now. So it's just basically imploded. It's primarily over. I believe it's over. I don't know where we go from here. I really don't. And I've been having these conversations over and over again, but it's just like you could do a movie, you could do your comedy special, you do all these things, but then it's the question of who's going to watch. Because when you wake up right now, when we open our eyes as humans, it's just you got two eyeballs. As soon as you open your eyes with that phone in your hand, it's about 150,000 to a million apps competing for your two eyeballs. And entertainment boils down to the business of advertisement. If you're not advertising and getting eyeballs, because the eyeballs are there so you can pull people in to watch what you're doing. And as they're watching, you say, hey, buy this juice, buy these cookies, buy this spatula. You're saying that while you have their eyeballs. So if these movies, if these television shows, films, if this music is not getting eyeballs and attention, then it's worthless. And that's what's happening right now. It's just a weird space that we're in. I don't even think, I will be honest with you. I've had this conversation. You don't need talent anymore. Talent is no longer a requirement. Talent is going to be a thing that we talk about. Talent to be true talent to be like a relic, you know. This is all about attention and how much attention you can get, and that's who wins. That's who wins. I often get asked by young comics, what should I do? What should I do? And the only thing I can say is the best advice I can give you is no advice at all, because when I came up in the game, everything that I went through just doesn't really apply to today to ensure your success. It just doesn't. Like anybody can literally like become a star instantly. Like, you go, you do a couple viral videos, and you could be doing the most random things, cooking rice, or putting on makeup, or tying a shoe. And you could end up having millions and millions of followers and getting all type of brand deals. You even think of the success of Keith Lee. Shout out Keith Lee. Here's a man just was tasting food in the car, just tasting a sandwich. And now he is considered like Jesus for restaurants. If this guy comes and bites your sandwich or your pie and he says, oh, this is good, then your restaurant is going to be sold out. And people clamor to this guy. I don't know why, but they just do. And that's where we're at right now. You got all these networks paying hundreds of millions of dollars, putting all this money in. You pay $100 million for a show that barely cracks 500,000 views, and then there's some idiot that's literally catching golf balls with his mouth or frisbees with his mouth or running like a dog or something that gets 20 or 30 million views. It's insane. The biggest YouTuber, the most famous person on earth, think about it, is a guy named Mr. Beast that lives in North Carolina, not Hollywood. Here's a guy that has the biggest YouTube channel, that probably channel does $100 million a year in ad revenue. And he basically has contests to where, hey, the last person to take his hand off this car wins $1 million. If you could stay in this room long, for 5 days, you win 50 grand. He's even returned the sight to blind people and built water wells. It's insane. And meanwhile, Hollywood is just dying. They're dying. They are dying. They don't know what to do. And it's just over. It's like everybody, I guess everybody just be their own entity. I think we've created an economy where all we want to do is watch each other. A lot of times people say, all the British brothers get all the roles, and they're getting all the roles because they're still passionate about their craft and they're being rewarded for actual talent over in that country. But it's just a matter of time before those walls fall down. So I don't know, as far as the entertainment landscape is concerned, it just seems to be bleak right now. I just don't know. I mean, or it is here, but it's transformed, and the internet has given each of us the power to become our own networks, primarily. That's where we at. And all those old titans and moguls, they're falling too due to the internet. If this the 60s, you never would have saw Diddy in that hotel with Cassie. You never would have saw that. And speaking of getting back to him, I'm surprised he didn't leave. I don't know why he sat around and was playing. He should have fled the country when he had the chance to. I would have packed my shit and flew to Bali and knocked on Russell's door. They could have lived out there. Like, just take your money and start pushing the money and making up LLC, pushing your money into those LLCs, locking it away, and just go live. Because he would have lived fine. He just been in Indonesia, $1 million to get you far out there. He could have lived, I mean, until he passed. I mean, that's obvious what Russell Simmons is doing. Russell not, it doesn't seem like he's coming back. He says he's at his office all the time, but I'm not too certain about that because they own it. So it's rather unfortunate. It is rather unfortunate. And then they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil in Puff's mansion. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's what they found. So if they found 1,000, he probably had millions of bottles of baby oil. And you would think, like with baby oil, I only need a little bit of baby oil to kind of grease my whole body, right? I say maybe 2 tablespoons. Why have 1,000 bottles of baby oil? What was going on at these parties? What was happening? What was happening? I mean, were these people that were coming over to these parties, were they dry? Were they all ashy? What was going on to require you to need that much baby? It's just like y'all was just all in there slipping and sliding around. And that's why Puffy looked greasy all the time. Like his hair is all look greasy. If anything in this, I feel most sorry for the children though. My prayers go out to his children because quite frankly, they don't deserve this. And I just hope and pray that the older boys weren't involved, which could be highly unlikely, but I hope and pray they weren't involved. And if they were, it's just that Diddy kind of coerced them. But I can tell you this, if your ass went to one of them parties and you was around and you indulged in that fun, you're going down too. Because Diddy's going to get on that stand and he's going to self-preserve if he can't find a way to take himself out. To think this man is literally the Jeffrey Epstein of hip hop is just, I'm just, it's so crazy to me. We literally have to be careful who we idolize. I mean, these people have demons, man. They have demons. People get famous and really lose it. And I mean, this business is just so unstable. It's so unreal. It's a very bizarre business. It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre because people, everybody, I think the entertainment business, like everybody is your friend, but you really have no friends, right? So the hotter you are, the faker people are going to be because they're looking to come up. They're looking to get something from you, but none of them care. None of them really care. It's like entertainment, the business of entertainment is like a huge house of cards. Right. And depending on what level you on, you start off with just the two cards. And those cards can fall down at any time. You could pick them up, put them back up. But as your career starts to grow, you get more famous, more famous, more famous. Now you got this big ass house of cards and it's all stacked up. But any gentle blow in the wind can blow the whole house of cards down. And that phone stops ringing and people pull away from you, and all you end up having is your family. That's like with me in the business. I'm very, very thankful for my close family and friends. Like, very, very thankful, man. Because you just understand the nature of this shit. It's just unreal. It's surreal. It's an odd thing to even be that famous. I used to go in these Elvis rabbit holes. It was very intriguing. I really went into an Elvis rabbit hole during when the movie came out, but it was due to the fact that this guy was famous, the most famous guy in this certain period of time. And it was just so interesting to me. But with that, even with Elvis, you watch the movie and see, man, this guy behind the scenes, you go up under the hood of that. It was a sad life to where Elvis worked himself to death and he became a slave to the game. His manager was pimping him out. His manager, the colonel, who was an illegal immigrant, they had a 50-50 split. Your manager, illegal immigrant who had a gambling problem and had you performing in Vegas every week. Every day you performed in Vegas. Lived in the top of the hotel in the gold tower, which was more of a jail than a tower. And he had to get on that elevator and roll down, and he doing six and seven shows a week, just working this man over and over and over. And he's singing the same songs until he dies constipated on the toilet. It's crazy. It's crazy. And getting back to Diddy, how did this start? I know Clive Davis gave him his big break. And before that, he had the big break from the guy that ran Uptown Records. I forgot his name, but he's passed. I cannot think of that guy's name right now. Let me see. I think I'm gonna let me find his name. Oh, Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell, who's passed now, who gave Diddy a start, and Clive Davis. What happened? Did he really? It seems like the way this downfall has come, this man really made a deal with the devil and turned into the devil, and it's just not worth it. I see people all the time. They're like, "Man, put me on." I say, "Bro, it's nothing I can do for you. I don't. It's nothing I can do." And y'all got to be careful with even asking people for that because you can get all the information that you need if you sit around just listen, watch some YouTubes. You have to put yourself on. I tell every artist that shit. If anybody gonna put you on, it's gonna be you putting you on. Because you make yourself very, very vulnerable by getting under somebody. They will take advantage of your ass. This game of entertainment is not for the faint of heart. If you want friends, go into the ice cream business. This is not the business. When I think about the P. Diddy thing, I have to even think about Kim Porter, where he said that this woman was in her 40s, maybe late 40s, who allegedly passed of walking pneumonia. I knew it was something wrong with that off bat. Like, nah, they really need to open up the investigation with Kim Porter to see what really happened. Because there's abuse with her as well. People who drop like flies around Diddy, and it's just not good. They even got him on a. It was allegedly that Tupac's Tupac's deletion is possibly a hit. And he told some guy named Eric Von Zip or something. Eric Von Zip said, man, we take care of for $1 million. And I guess Diddy said, cool. And then wham. And if they find out that Eric Von Zip got that $1 million, it's curtains. I just think it's curtains either way, though. I don't think he's gonna ever get out of jail again. And and I guess they'll put him in jail with R. Kelly. They can make hits. I mean, if you are like an artist right now, I would say go down to the jailhouse. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm Trey Songz right now, I'm going out of that jailhouse. I'm visiting Kelly. Put some money on his books, man, so he can write your ass some hits. Buy that man some noodles, some cigarettes, and he can write you the hits. And now you're going to have Diddy in there. You can make awesome music. Diddy changed his name to Brother Love, and I'm guessing he knew. He must have known this was all coming. He must have knew the dominoes was falling. He had to. And I guess the biggest mistake was not paying Cassie that money when she asked him, what does she have? Like, what video did he see where he just went on to send her that 30 million? And not only sent it, but paid her out. But then they even came back and released that horrible footage of this man assaulting this woman in the elevator. Come on, man. Where are we right now? You know? And I'm just so happy I'm square. The older I get, the more thankful I am that I had both parents and they reared me properly and I grew up square. What black people call it, corny or lame, yeah, whatever. Thank God for that. Thank God. Be more corny. Let's start having people be more corny, be more lame, be more square. Enough with being cool. The price of coolness is just too heavy to bear. It's just you can't. I mean, Diddy is the real live Joker from Batman, and nobody's saying anything. It's just rather unfortunate, and this whole week has been rough. We lost Frankie Beverly from Frankie Beverly and Maze. Love Frankie Beverly. I got to go watch him do a concert with Erykah Badu. It was great. We lost Tito Jackson on the same day that Puff was snatched up. We are watching the end of eras, man. It's the end of music. It's the end of real art. We'll all end up being just mindless creatures, just sitting in our homes, all looking for dopamine hits, which is what we're doing now. It's utterly ridiculous, man. This shit is all falling apart and nobody's saying anything. Nobody. I just don't know. I'm just really happy to be alive, though. Happy to have family, happy to have friends, happy to be on my cholesterol medication that I'm taking. Because as you know, I've been in the gym. I'll be back in Chicago to help my dad to rehabilitate him from his mild stroke that he had. He's doing amazing. So I'm thankful for all of those things. And I'm thankful that you showed up, here with me today. Really thankful for that. So look to your neighbor and say thankful. We lost Tito Jackson. Tito Jackson was a great one, man. Tito, we lost Tito, of course, Michael. Catherine is holding on. Catherine Jackson is holding on. We can't lose Catherine Jackson. We gotta keep Catherine. We gotta keep the matriarch of the family. Tito didn't even get to live to see the movie. Hopefully he saw the movie. Y'all know the Michael Jackson biopic is coming out. He probably saw that movie. But when you think about even the fame and the level of fame Michael Jackson had and how, I mean, his life became a living hell. Michael Jackson was one of the biggest prisoners of fame the world has ever known. So I don't think that shit is all what it's cut out to be. I started stand up comedy just because I love to do it. I love to talk to people. That's why I keep talking on this right now, and I'm just not going to stop because I love all of you. Well, when you think about Michael Jackson and how he left, I mean, listen, I would just say this: it's just better to be thankful for whatever you have. Don't look to your right, don't look to your left. Focus on yourself. Gratitude. Gratitude helps your attitude, and your attitude helps to increase your latitude in life. And I'm not even trying to be too motivational right now. But you think about the hell that Michael Jackson was in. You think about the hell that he lived only to entertain us all. Did we really care about him? Did we? Did we? First started when his hair burned up on with the Pepsi Cola commercial. We had that whole little thing. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Michael Jackson is a since Pepsi Cola burned him down. Now he drinking 7 Up. You remember being a child singing that? Michael's hair was on fire. You saw the glove. It's just wild, man. So everything is collapsing, guys. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I don't know. I would say get God in your life. Put family and friends first. That's going to be the most important thing. That's going to be the most important. Also, too, the new iPhone 16 came out, which looks like the rest of the iPhones. I refuse to upgrade. My phone would have to totally die or just catch on fire or something for me to upgrade. And even if something happened to my phone, I'm buying another 13 because for me to get an iPhone 16 Pro Max, that's a $1,600 phone. Do you realize you can buy an 85-inch television for less than a damn cell phone right now? To show you how addicted we are to these phones, to show you how fractured our attention is, to show you where we are in life. Do you realize that? It's surreal. So I plan to keep my phone, and Apple needs to do more innovation. It's like they've given up. They're on autopilot. I mean, how much better can the camera get? How much more titanium can you put on the damn phone? Why don't you change the phone? Give me something new. I want a better technology. I want this phone to do something. Like, can it turn into an umbrella? Can it let out? Do something. But this looks like the new one. It's the same thing. You've done nothing, Apple. Nothing. Samsung really has more upgrades and they're doing way more. So Tim Cook, you need to go steal all them people that are innovating over at Samsung and bring them to Apple because Apple is slowly turning into the new IBM. There's just no integration. Now, hopefully, they're coming out with some glasses and they supposed to have the holograms in the glasses because right now I got these Meta Smart glasses on. Shout out to Meta and these glasses. I love them. Like right now, I take a little picture. Did it? Oh my! I think they're dead. But you could take the picture and record and film and do all kind of things. I end up getting these for my birthday. So, yep, went and got my oil changed today. They asked me, well, in my truck, because I drive a Tesla, they asked me if I wanted something extra. No, I don't want nothing extra. I don't want anything extra. They want to do an extra flush and all that. No, change the oil. And when did oil changes get so damn expensive? When did oil changes start costing $130? I remember going to Jiffy Lube at an oil change place. The oil change was no more than $30, $25. It shows you where our money is in this country too. This inflation is killing us. And I don't know who you're voting for, but does it matter who wins? Does it really matter who the president will be? How much will your life change? Your life is going to stay the same no matter who's in that office because it starts with you. I have to tell you this all the time. It starts with you. So, but anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, man. This week I'm gonna be in Chicago hosting the What's Funny Comedy Festival down at the DuSable Museum. Friday I got a show at 9 p.m. and Saturday I have a show at 7 p.m. We're gonna be doing that. I will be going back home again. Can't wait to get there. Um, and y'all call me. And this is the end of this podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm LeVar Walker. This is LeVar Walker Show. If you could, go to my Instagram and sign up for my email list, please. But this is another episode of LeVar Walker Show podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night and God bless.